welcome to the Parrot Life. This is Noah, my Cape Parrot, and I know I've been absent a lot. I've been really busy and a lot of stuff is going on with my life, but today I decided to wake up and take a video and share it with you guys. This is Noah, my Cape Parrot. It's going to be about him, but parrots in general, and in today's topic, we are going to be talking about why do parrots bite. So if you guys haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe to my channel. If you guys have subscribed, please continue to watching if you guys are interested in why parrots bite and different tips to avoid that behavior. So you guys, Noah, my Cape Parrot, he's a male Cape Parrot. He is around 3 years old. He's turning 4 next year in May. May 5th was his hatch day. So usually parrots, they have these terrible 2s, and they can get terrible 4s, terrible 6, and the list just goes on. And I believe they probably get mellow around 10 years old. And I have to wait until he's 10. But Noah has been biting among all my parrots. He's been pretty bitey recently, so this is why I wanted to address it on camera. Please don't get fooled by this really cute parrot. He does bite among all my birds, and he's probably the most unpredictable one, which why it's scary. So this is why I don't recommend Cape Parrots as a first pet bird, because this beak right here, look at that. He looks really innocent on camera, but he's actually not. I feel like Cape Parrots, below macaws, they have one of the strongest beaks and the biggest beak of the smallest birds, I believe. I think he wants to go up. You want to go up? Okay. So as you guys saw in Noah's beak that I showed you, he has a really large beak. So this is why I don't recommend it to other parrot owners who are looking for a first bird choice, because I do not recommend that bird among kids. So moving on, why do birds bite? And specifically Noah, I've been having trouble with his biting behaviors. Please don't mind the noise. He's pretty hyped right now. I don't know why. And I actually printed a list of why birds bite because I wanted to research on myself and I wanted to give you guys the education. And I'm holding a foraging toy, by the way, because you need this. But anyways, why do birds bite? So first of all, it can be hormones. So hormones, usually a bird can be 2 to 3 years old. It can be 6 years old. It just depends on whatever the bird's situation in and how you affect their hormones too. For example, you are not supposed to be touching the back of the bird's back like a dog. You can't be touching birds like dogs, basically. So that's how they activate hormones, and they can lead to aggression. So number one reason can be hormones. And sorry it's so loud. I think Noah is just so hyped right now. All my macaws are in the aviary, and I think he's just feeling lonely because he's alone right now. All my birds are outside. But yeah, so number one can lead to hormones. And maybe, yes, Noah is maybe during that period of the season right now, because Kona, my red-fronted macaw, their hormones activate really quickly, and Kona was aggressive maybe a month or 2 months ago, and he was loud too. But that period settled down, and now he's extremely pretty quiet, and he's not bitey actually, which is amazing. But Noah, like, he is just like, he is everyday bitey, and he hasn't bitten me yet. He's in a really good mood today, but his mood swings are always ups and downs. But that's how a Cape Parrot is. I think this video might be about Cape Parrots, about their mood swings, honestly. But this goes out to all parrot owners, honestly. You really have to know your parrot's body language. That's number 2. Number 1's hormones. Number 2 is body language. And going back to hormones, you know, there's really nothing you can really do. Just don't, this is why you need to know your parrot's body language, because you really need to know and respect your parrot's space, your parrot bubble is what my bird trainers, BirdTricks, call it. So you cannot be forced into their bubble. You really have to respect it, and you have to take a step back and know all the variables why your parrot is biting, because it's usually a sign. So knowing all your signs of how you can know all your signs of why your bird is biting, usually the eyes pin more. And come here. Okay, never mind. So usually the eyes pin much more and their feathers puff up. And usually they are gripping on your fingers. For example, this is when Noah bites and I get really scared. I haven't get bitten by Noah, actually. I always dodge it, but I know I'm gonna get bit soon from this little monster here. But usually when he doesn't want to go in the cage, this is when the biting happens, or I want him to step up from the cage and go somewhere, like out of his cage too, he bites, okay? So first of all, when he doesn't want to come out of the cage, I do not force him to. And he's been pretty bitey inside the cage, but also today was fine. But I noticed why he was biting me in the morning is because I woke him up too early. He's really cranky in the morning. So after I take off the covers of his cage, he doesn't like to be immediately stepped on, because it's like people waking up. You don't want to just be forced to wake up and put on your clothes, turn on like the blinds, turn on the blinds. But that's how my parrot is. He likes to settle in the morning in his cage first, and then I take him to his daytime cage and feed him. But before, when I woke up, I immediately woke Noah up and he almost bit me, and it was really unpredictable because he was just frozen in his cage. I just put my hand out like that and he almost bit me, and I'm like, okay. But usually when your parrot do that, they need time a little bit and then you can come back. Don't always make the same mistake of putting your hand and forcing the bird to step up. Number 3 is going to be forcing the bird. You cannot force a bird to do anything. Usually when a bird doesn't want to do it, they don't want to do it. So definitely when your bird doesn't feel like stepping up and you can kind of feel that they're about to bite, don't force it, or else you can get bit pretty hard. And also, you guys, I'm not saying a macaw's bite is not worse than a small bird, but smaller birds can be pretty neurotic, and their bites can be much more sharper than macaws, but I think they are more unpredictable. I feel like in my own experience, macaws are much more predictable. You can kind of tell when they're about to bite, and their actions are much more slower, like a slower dinosaur. But smaller birds have much more faster actions because they're small. So that's why you can get bit pretty easily with smaller birds than macaws, from my own experience. And obviously I did get bit by Kona, my red-fronted macaw, but it didn't hurt that much. I think that's just how his beak is shaped. Obviously it can bite, it can hurt, but Noah, it has like this pointy tip, and he has a really, really strong beak compared to my macaw, actually. And he's like trying to intentionally hurt you. Like my macaw, he does like a warning bite, but my Cape Parrot, he's like I'm going to get you. Like, you can tell that he is doing this on purpose, and it's really depressing and it hurts like hell. And this is why I'm making a video to all the people who want birds. You really have to know your body, your parrot's body language, because birds can bite. It's really dangerous. And this is why birds, biting is not an issue, but this is why birds get rehomed pretty quickly, because, you know, people just don't have enough patience, and it's sad, honestly. It's really sad that these animals get rehomed because it's not their fault. So in the wild, I found out that parrots don't really bite each other. When they bite each other, that's when they're territorial. Obviously, there can be parrot bites, like Kona actually bit Noah's beak before, because they were on the same perch, and it was my fault for not looking at that. But Kona and Noah, they were trying to gang up each other because they were trying to get the territory or the toys, and Kona just bit Noah's beak, and luckily Noah's beak recovered. But usually when parrots fight, they fight for a territory like that, or in the wild they're trying to protect their young ones, so that's why they are trying to fight. But birds, usually I heard that they don't really fight in the wild except for territory and nesting, protecting their young ones. So when a bird's bite in captivity, that's when that they don't want to do something and they bite you, to humans. But that is because there is something wrong with the environment or what you are doing, because you always have to take a step back, and there is always a reason why birds bite. So if you can figure out the reason why, then they will not bite you and you can avoid the bite. And obviously you will run into still biting problems along the way. This is going to be a lifelong lesson, but if you can know your parrot's body language, then the biting will be resolved and you won't get bit. So now with Noah, one variable that I found out is that I will not take him out of the cage forcefully in the morning, and I'm gonna wait and make his breakfast and then wake him up, because he was really motivated to get out after everybody got out of the cage. So it was usually him first that I always took him out of the cage, but now I don't do that anymore. Now he knows that now everybody's out of the cage and he's left alone. He wants to get out so bad, and he steps up. And the only way to get into his daytime cage is by stepping up on me, and then I transfer him. So this is why he doesn't bite anymore in the morning. And I was like, yes. So always know why your birds are biting and take a step back. Also, you guys, you really need to know your parrot's behavior, because every bird is different. I feel like macaws, I mean, it really depends on their personality. My red-fronted macaw and my blue-throat macaw, they don't really bite to intentionally hurt you. With Noah, he's really moody. Cape parrots are like that. Usually breeders, or if you go on the forum on Facebook, Cape Parrot Facebook, there's a lot of people who ask questions about the Cape's personality, and everybody's different. Some people say, oh, my Cape Parrot is quiet, he's sweet, she's sweet, but Noah is not. So, and also I have a lot of birds, so sometimes parrots can feel like the energy and they get like stimulated, overstimulated, and they can bite too. So be mindful of that, because Noah is much more quiet when he's alone like this. Now he's really, really quiet, and he's just preening right now, really happily. I wish I can show you, but let me see if I can show you. Sorry for the ugly cardboard. Okay, so training is really, really important when you have parrot birds, small birds, budgies to big macaws, and to Cape parrots, to medium-sized birds. So target training is really beneficial. You can go on the BirdTricks YouTube channel. They are my bird trainers, and they're really good at target training, and you need a clicker. So one click equals one trick. So you usually need a target stick in order to avoid biting as well. You can use the target stick outside their cage, and you can kind of lure it, and with the tip of the chopsticks of the stick, is usually a chopstick, they bite on it, and then you click it, and then you give a treat. So you can kind of lure that target stick onto when the parrot is coming onto your hand, and you can like slowly make them come out of their cage instead of like forcing it with your hand. So that's why the target stick is good, because you don't have to use your hands all the time. But my bird trainers are the pros of using target stick, when to use it, when to click it. I obviously know when to click it, but if you guys are running to major biting problems and you want to use the target stick and training better, I highly suggest going into the BirdTricks YouTube channel, and also they do online consultations, which is really great. So I highly suggest going into their YouTube channel. And also they created several different videos of why your birds are biting, and they mentioned this several times. You need to be able to read your parrot's body language and take a step back and use positive reinforcement. So, you know, sometimes people were like impatient and we want our birds to step up and go to a different station, or you want your birds to, you know, you're going somewhere and you know, you're like panicking, you're late somewhere, you need your bird to be in the cage, and that's when birds can kind of feel your rushed energy and they can bite. And usually when you're rushed, birds will know, and they do not like that. So I would like to take my time and put Noah in the cage. So definitely use your hands as a good positive reinforcement. Don't slap your bird. Don't shoo your bird away. Just don't do negative things with your hand that causes your birds to bite. And birds, they hold grudges. So if you like, I know people that use a paper towel and they always like try to, you know, force the bird or lure the bird somewhere, and then they make it to step up. That's not good. Always take a step back and take your time with the bird. But again, going into Cape Parrots, they're not your first bird choice. They're much more difficult to own. If you guys forgot what a Cape Parrot looks like, this is what a Cape Parrot looks like, because Noah is not with me here, which is sad. It's hard to film something without birds. But as you can see, his beak is pretty big. So this is why I don't recommend capes to other parrot owners. Let me see if I told you guys all the behaviors right. But yes, so always you have to, in conclusion, reward for good behavior, you know. So, you know, if you're training them, you know, just anything, and they do a really good job on training or whatever it is you want them to do, always reward them with their favorite treat. That's really important. And even when they come to you unintentionally, sometimes I give Noah a treat because he's been really good. So, but for me, when I take Noah into the cage, because sometimes that's the hardest part and he tries to bite and flies away, I usually train before letting him into the cage. So I always recall train, and then when he comes to my hand several times, I just like take him in the cage. Just don't do that immediately, because if you're like recalling them once, that means like they're going to be like, oh, you're taking me to the cage. So I always try to do like several recalls and step up training, and the last training I take him to the cage, so he's not like, oh, like step up equals cage time. So always have numerous sessions of training before you take your bird in the cage. So I hope you find this video to be helpful. Hopefully I talked about all the things, but definitely what's important is to not force the bird, and always respect their bird bubble, and don't force your hand and make them step up, or don't force anything, because you know, like birds, they're just being birds and they just don't want to do the things that they don't want to do. They're not dogs. But if you're getting a bird, you really need to know this and know your bird's personality and really do your research. And you can always consult with my bird trainers. They're really helpful, and there's a lot of helpful bird people out in the world that can help you. But if you really know your bird's personality and know your body language, their body language, then you will not get bit. But anyways, thank you guys so much for watching my YouTube channel. Sorry, I was pretty absent. There's a lot of things going on in my life. So, but you guys will see me in the next video, hopefully with my actual parrots. But thank you guys for subscribing, and please Subscribe if you guys haven't yet. See you guys in the next video.